Everybody, we have a ton of news to cover in today's video. Welcome back to my channel. This is your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. Now before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. Republican lawmakers are really opposed to President Biden's massive infrastructure plan. This means we may not see the infrastructure package pass soon. GOP opposition is hardening over a massive infrastructure plan and a revamp of multiple laws. Republicans are pushing back at President Biden's efforts to tie a bipartisan Senate deal on an infrastructure deal.
We're going to leave it to leaders in Congress to determine the sequencing and the timeline for those pieces moving forward. But he's going to use every lever at his disposal. He's going to be involved. He's going to roll up his sleeves. He's going to work like hell to get both of these pieces of legislation done. He fully expects, hopes, plans to sign both into law, and he will leave it to leaders in Congress to determine the timeline and the sequencing.
With a larger package of Democratic priorities, warning that such a tactic will cause GOP support to crater and could torpedo the $1.2 trillion deal that was reached between the two parties. According to GOP sources, several members of the 11 Republicans who signed off on the bipartisan deal are upset at Biden's tactics, privately warning that they too could walk away from the deal. On Friday, the group of 11 Republicans who signed onto the bipartisan infrastructure agreement met virtually to discuss how they wanted to handle Biden's comments to tie the bipartisan bill to the Democratic-only proposal. Many in the group were irritated about having stuck their necks out to back Biden's agreement in the first place.
The group of senators that basically proposed something very similar, and they're working the White House right now.
And when you agreed on what infrastructure is, was there any agreement that some of these more social programs and other issues would be a part of that?
Well, I think we looked at it and said, what can we actually get a bipartisan deal done on?
And so
it
what
starts
was
with the
it?
physical infrastructure.
Yeah.
Roads, bridges,
Obviously.
rail, water, broadband, hard
Obviously.
infrastructure.
And having just been at the White House less than 24 hours before. Agreeing to the bipartisan deal was always going to put them at odds with some of their conservative colleagues, and they viewed the president's words as having undercut the good faith deal. Jen Psaki told reporters on Friday that President Biden has a desire to see both packages signed into law. There hasn't been a secret. He hasn't said it quietly. Now the source was referring to Friday's briefing where the White House press secretary Jen Psaki did not walk back President Biden's warning that a Democratic-only reconciliation bill must pass Congress before he signed a bipartisan deal into law. Republicans in the Senate have the power to derail both the infrastructure deal and multiple pieces of legislation, given that the measures would need 60 votes to overcome a filibuster attempt in the 50-50 chamber. But many Democrats are unhappy that their priorities were left out of the bipartisan plan, prompting Democratic leaders to set the stage for moving a much larger plan that could cost anywhere from $4 trillion to $6 trillion through the so-called budget reconciliation process, which allows legislation to pass in the Senate along straight party lines. To win over her more liberal members behind the bipartisan deal, Pelosi vowed to hold up the proposal until the Senate approved the larger reconciliation bill, angering Republicans and prompting Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell to signal that he's ready to battle the effort. The larger Democratic bill is expected to carry many provisions in Biden's American Families Plan to expand the Social Security net, with tax increases on corporations and high-income earners. What do you think about this, everybody? Should the budget reconciliation process be used? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Americans who qualify to start receiving family stimulus checks in just a few weeks on July 15th can now easily enroll for or opt out of the payments, thanks to a temporary expansion of the child tax credit, part of the American Rescue Plan that was signed into law back in March. That is all the news in this video. If you folks found this video useful and helpful, feel free to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like.
Saving Social Security, which of course he is not, he would support the legislation that I introduced. This bill would expand Social Security benefits and extend the solvency of Social Security for the next 60 years by requiring the wealthiest people in our country, those who make over $250,000 a year, to start paying their fair share of Social Security taxes.
127 million people have received them, but a significant chunk of the population has not received their checks yet, and it's a weird reason why. News broke this week that nearly 30 million Americans who get Social Security, so that's older Americans, disabled Americans, nearly 30 million haven't received their checks yet.
Well, you use that word. Social Security today has a $2.6 trillion surplus. Social Security today can pay out every benefit owed to every eligible American for the next 26 years, at which point it could pay out 78% the benefits. If we want Social Security to be strong for the next 60, 70 years, you lift that cap, start at $250, ask the billionaires to start contributing.
You know, at the end of the day, this issue is not about numbers, and it's not even about dollars and cents. It's about promises. It's about keeping promises. And America is a great nation because we keep our promises, and we're going to continue to do that.
We always have to remember that Social Security is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. As long as this government continues, Social Security will continue.
It has never once failed. It is not going to fail. And our job right now is to stand up to those people who are attacking Social Security, not for financial reasons. They are attacking it for ideological and political.
You know, there are many who say that bipartisanship is dead in Washington, D.C. and across this country. But this historic agreement today between Republicans and Democrats in the Senate and with the President of the United States shows that when a group of people who are committed with shared values to solving the problems and challenges our country faces, we can use bipartisanship to solve these challenges. As Rob said, and as the President said, no one got everything they wanted in this package. We all gave some to get some, because what we did was put first the needs of our country. This does represent a historic investment in our country's infrastructure, and it meets the needs of folks who live from Virginia out to Arizona. It invests in green energy and climate, recognizing the changing nature of our country and our future. It invests in broadband and our power grid and our structures. And we are delighted to go back to the Hill and begin earning more support from both Republicans and Democrats to get this bill across the finish line.
First, and I think my colleagues have demonstrated that.
I think it's important to recognize that when we say a bipartisan bill, what that really means, not just to those of us in the Senate, in the Congress working with the White House, but that signal that it sends to the country. Again, that we actually can work, that we actually can perform, that we can do something, not for Republicans or for Democrats, but for Americans. When we talk about infrastructure, there's a lot of diversity here. My friend John Warner has mass transit. I don't have any roads. I have ferry boats.
Is John Warner here?